My partner took my savings to fund a trip with another woman. When I confronted him, he brushed it off, saying, "Chill, you'll move on." His friends ridiculed me, and one of them called me pitiful. Days later, he was leaving desperate voicemails, pleading for forgiveness. Ethan and I have been together for a little over 3 years. We don't officially share a home, but he spends most nights at my place since his apartment is a 40-minute commute to his workplace, while mine's just 15 minutes away. We discussed moving in together next year when my lease expires. At least that was the intention. Financially, we're both middle of the road. We split date expenses, take turns buying groceries, and I thought we had a balanced setup. I've been saving for a year and a half for a deposit and first month's rent for a nicer place when we move in together. It wasn't a fortune, about $2,800, but it came from small sacrifices, bringing lunch from home, skipping coffee runs, picking up extra weekend shifts when I could. Last Friday, I opened my banking app to transfer funds from my car insurance and nearly dropped my phone. My savings showed $267, not the $2,800 plus it should have been. I assumed it was a glitch or maybe a hack. Panicked, I called the bank. After verifying my identity, the representative found a $2,550 withdrawal made 3 days earlier, one I didn't authorize. When asked if anyone else had access to my account, my heart sank. Ethan knows my phone passcode. I've never kept it secret. We've always had an open phone policy, and he's seen me enter my banking app PIN before. I never imagined he'd use it against me. I thanked the rep and hung up, then checked my app's security logs. The withdrawal was made in person at a branch across town using my ID. I hadn't visited that branch in months. Ethan must have taken my driver's license from my purse, probably while I was showering or asleep. I called him, but it went to voicemail. I texted, asking where he was and if we could talk. Hours later, he responded that he was out with friends and would be back tomorrow. Something felt wrong. That night, I couldn't sleep, trying to rationalize it. Maybe it was an emergency he hadn't mentioned. Maybe he was planning a surprise. But I knew I was kidding myself. The next morning, I checked his Instagram, which he rarely uses. Nothing new. Then I looked at his friend Jake's stories and my world shattered. There was Ethan, arm around a woman I didn't know, on a beach. Jake's caption read, "Day 2 of paradise with these sweethearts." Sweethearts, plural. More stories showed Ethan with this woman, tagged as Sophia, at a Cancun resort, one that would cost about $2,500 for two. I felt nauseous. 3 years together and he'd stolen my savings to vacation with another woman. I sat on my bathroom floor, alternating between tears and numbness. When Ethan returned Sunday night, he acted like everything was fine. Tanned, smiling, tossing his bag by the door. He tried to hug me, but I stepped back and confronted him about his trip. He initially stuck to his hanging with friends story. But when I showed him Jake's Instagram, his attitude shifted, not to guilt, but irritation, like I'd caught him in a trivial lie. He admitted taking the money, calling it a spur-of-the-moment thing. Sophia had free tickets and needed a companion, he said, promising to repay me eventually. When I pointed out he could barely cover groceries, he got defensive, saying it wasn't like he took my rent money. It was just sitting there. I reminded him it was our future home fund, saved through my sacrifices. He laughed, saying $2,800 wouldn't get us anything decent anyway. When I asked if Sophia was his girlfriend, he paused too long before denying it, claiming she was just a friend. Friends don't take romantic beach trips together. He grabbed a beer, acting like I was overreacting, saying he didn't want to argue. When I called him out for stealing and cheating, he looked at me coldly and said, "Chill, you'll move on." That's when I realized this wasn't a one-off mistake. This was who he was. I told him to leave. He argued, citing his long commute to work. I said that was his problem now, not mine. As he left, he muttered that I was being dramatic, and that Sophia wouldn't act this way. His final jab was that I should keep the drama. I collapsed on the couch, trembling. I blocked his texts, which accused me of blowing things out of proportion and needing to calm down. I called out sick from work for 2 days, barely eating, checking my bank account hoping the money would magically reappear. It didn't. I called the bank again, but since Ethan had my ID and passwords, they classified it as unauthorized use, not fraud, suggesting a civil lawsuit. I'm changing all my passwords, opening a new account, and getting my locks changed tomorrow. I don't think he'd return, but I don't know who he is anymore. I'm sharing this because I feel like I'm sinking and need to let it out. First update. Thank you all for your responses to my last post. I didn't expect such support, and it's helped me feel less alone. Many of you asked for an update, so here's what's happened since I kicked Ethan out a week ago. The first few days were a haze of tears, no appetite, and obsessively checking my phone despite blocking him. I hoped he'd explain it was a misunderstanding. I returned to work Wednesday because I couldn't afford more missed days. A coworker noticed my mood and asked what was wrong. I shared the short version, and her shock validated my feelings. That night, I got a text from an unknown number, Ethan, using his friend Leo's phone. "We need to talk." I ignored it. An hour later, another. "You're acting immature. It's just money. I'll pay you back." I blocked Leo's number. Thursday was quiet, but Friday was a disaster. My friend Sarah invited me for drinks, saying I needed to get out. I hesitated but went. We were at a bar with trivia, and I was starting to feel normal, laughing at Sarah's bad guesses. Then in the bathroom, I returned to see Ethan, Jake, Leo, and 3 other friends across the room. They hadn't seen me. I told Sarah we had to leave, but as I grabbed my coat, Jake spotted me and approached, smirking. He mocked me, saying I was whining over pocket change and that Ethan was upset because I'd overreacted. He said it wasn't like Ethan spent my money on something bad, just a trip with a cute girl, and any guy would do the same. I said it was theft, but Jake rolled his eyes. Ethan and the others came over, blocking our way. Ethan acted casual, like we'd bumped into each other randomly, urging me to unblock him to work this out. I said there was nothing to resolve. He stole and cheated. Leo and the others laughed. Ethan admitted taking the money was wrong, but said it wasn't stealing since we're a couple, and what's yours is mine. He insisted Sophia was just a friend, and it was a group trip since Jake and Leo were there. I pointed out Jake's "Sweethearts" caption. Jake muttered it was a joke. Then Sophia appeared, asking if I was the one freaking out over a couple bucks. I said he stole $2,550, my year's savings. She laughed, calling it sadder that I cared so much about so little. I looked to Ethan for him to defend me, but he stared at the floor, smirking. He'd shared everything with them, and they were laughing at me. The fool whose money was taken too pitiful to be upset. Sarah announced we were leaving, shoving past Leo. Outside, I heard Sophia tell Ethan he'd dodged a bullet with someone so broke and dramatic. I cried in the parking lot. Sarah hugged me and got us an Uber. She said Ethan's friends were always jerks, and she never got why I was with him. At home, we ordered pizza, drank wine, and I vented. I showed her Ethan's texts, and we blocked more numbers. Saturday morning, I got an Instagram DM from Sophia. Curiosity won, and I opened it. She confirmed she and Ethan had been seeing each other for months. He'd told her we were practically done, just roommates. She said his theft was gross, but wanted me to know this started before Cancun. I screenshotted it and blocked her. Months, late nights, helping friends, calls he took outside. It all clicked. Sarah wasn't shocked, saying guys like Ethan build up to this. We made a plan. I called my landlord, who agreed to change my locks since Ethan wasn't on the lease. I opened a new bank account, transferred my remaining funds, and set up 2-factor authentication. Sarah helped me box Ethan's things. Some clothes, a toothbrush, a few games. Nothing valuable. Sunday, I felt different. Not healed, but resolute. The bar incident stung, but I was angry, not just hurt. They thought I was pitiful? Let them. I wasn't disappearing. I cleaned my apartment, tossed Ethan's reminders, and rearranged furniture to reclaim my space. I budgeted to rebuild my savings. It'll take time, but I've done it before. Monday, the locksmith came. Knowing Ethan couldn't walk in lifted a burden. At work, I saw 3 missed calls from Ethan's real number. I'd missed it when blocking others. His voicemail was frantic, claiming Sophia was lying, saying not all of it was true, and that he missed me. I deleted it. When I got home, an envelope was under my door. $300 cash and a note from Ethan. "Starting to repay you. Can we talk?" $300 out of $2,550, like that fixes it. Maybe Sophia dumped him or his friends ditched the drama. Maybe his commute is hitting hard. I don't care. The Ethan I loved was a lie. He stole, cheated, let his friends mock me, and stood by while Sophia called me pitiful. Sarah's coming over tonight to help draft a text saying we're done and he needs to stop contacting me. She suggested documenting everything for a possible restraining order, which feels extreme, but not impossible. I'll update if anything major happens. Second update, thank you for your support. It's been nearly 2 weeks since the bar incident, and Ethan's efforts to reach me have intensified. He's shown up at my workplace twice, forcing me to tell my boss, which was humiliating. He sent flowers with apologies and had his mom call me. I didn't pick up. Last Thursday, I found my car with a flat tire. I thought it was random until I saw a puncture that looked intentional. I can't prove it was Ethan, but it's suspicious. I took an Uber to work, another cost I didn't need. That was my breaking point. I went to Sarah's instead of home, scared Ethan might be waiting. Over dinner, she said, "This is a chess game. He's made his moves, now you make yours." I'd been reacting, blocking numbers, changing locks. I needed to act first. We listed steps. Move out during Ethan's work hours, secure my finances, document everything, contact his family, reach out to mutual friends, and prepare for escalation. Friday, I called in sick to start. My landlord, understanding my situation, let me break my lease with 30 days notice instead of 60. At the bank, I confirmed no ties remained and checked my credit. Ethan hadn't opened anything in my name. I photographed my belongings, categorizing them. Mine, ours, his. I noted who paid for shared items. Sarah helped me pack essentials, documents, sentimental items, clothes, and store them at her place. Then I contacted Ethan's mom, nervous about it since she'd always been kind. I sent a concise message detailing his theft, the Cancun trip with Sophia, and his cruelty. I attached my bank statement, Jake's Instagram, and Sophia's DM. Her reply came next morning. "Lila, I'm stunned and ashamed. I raised Ethan better. I'm so sorry, I'll talk to him." Her belief in me was a relief I didn't know I needed. Next, I met our mutual friend Noah for coffee. He's known Ethan longer but is fair. I showed him the evidence. He said Ethan had been acting odd for months, avoiding old friends and recently asked for rent money, citing unexpected costs. A Cancun trip would do that. Noah promised to clarify things with our friends, warning that Jake and Leo wouldn't listen, but others would. I found a small studio apartment I can afford alone, with a 6-month lease, move in next week. I changed my phone number, sharing it only with trusted people, Sarah, family, close friends, my boss. Packing the rest of my place was tough. I chose a Tuesday when Ethan had a double shift. Sarah, Noah, and Noah's truck helped. We were nearly done when Danny, Ethan's co-worker, texted, "Ethan left work early, says he's sick." My heart raced. We had an hour left, and Ethan could arrive any second. We packed frantically. As we loaded the last box, Ethan's car pulled in. His face, confusion, shock, anger as he saw us, is seared in my mind. We sped off, Sarah and I in my car, Noah in his truck. That night, Ethan got my new number and sent texts. Apologetic, angry, pleading. I didn't reply, just screenshotted them from my records. Sleeping in my new apartment felt peaceful despite the chaos. Mattress on the floor, boxes everywhere, just pizza and beer from Noah. No Ethan memories. Next morning, Ethan's mom left a voicemail, sounding exhausted. "Lila, I spoke to Ethan. He confessed everything. I'm so sorry. He wasn't raised like this. Call me if you need anything. I've been staying with Sarah, only visiting my place for essentials. Scared Ethan might find it. I'm exhausted, scared, sad, but done. Final update. It's been 3 weeks since my last update, and a lot has changed. Your support has kept me grounded when I've been tempted to engage with Ethan. Many suggested a security camera. I got a budget doorbell camera from Amazon. After moving and contacting Ethan's family and friends, he went quiet for 4 days. I thought he'd given up. Then, last Monday, a text from a new number. "I know you're seeing these. You can't throw away 3 years. Talk to me." I blocked it. By lunch, a fake Instagram account messaged me saying I was overreacting. It was one mistake. No apology for stealing or cheating, just a mistake. Over dinner with Noah, he shared gossip. Sophia dumped Ethan after learning the truth, thinking we were just roommates. Ethan's parents cut him off financially. He hadn't mentioned they paid his car insurance and phone bill. Jake and Leo stuck by him, but others distanced themselves. Ethan was struggling with rent, his apartment pricier than mine, and his Cancun splurge drained him. Tuesday, I met Ethan's mom for coffee. She looked worn, returning my things from their house. She said Ethan moved back home, unable to pay rent, and was angry, not grasping his consequences. She hugged me, saying I deserved better. I cried in my car, not for Ethan, but for the life I'd imagined. Things were calm until Friday. At the grocery store, I saw Leo watching me. My stomach sank. Was Ethan nearby? In the parking lot, I ran into Jake, who apologized for the bar, saying Ethan lied about our relationship and the money. Jake said Ethan was acting erratic, angry, borrowing money, even punching a hole in Leo's wall. Worse, Ethan talked like I'd return soon. At home, a package in Ethan's handwriting held $500 cash and a letter. Apologies, excuses, pleas. He sold his console to repay me and mentioned 2 therapy sessions. That night, an unknown number called. I answered. It was Ethan, drunk, saying he'd started DoorDash to repay me. He rambled about his life collapsing, parents treating him like a kid, Sophia ghosting, friends judging. He begged for another chance. I said it wasn't one mistake, but many choices, stealing, cheating, mocking me. He cried. I hung up and blocked the number. More voicemails followed, from tearful to furious. The last, at 2:37 a.m., was Ethan screaming, "You ruined my life, and you never loved me." I saved them all, sending copies to Sarah and Noah. Ethan's mom texted Saturday, apologizing, saying they took his keys and were seeking help for him. It's been 2 days since the voicemails. He hasn't contacted me, but I'm still jumpy. I'm staying with Sarah, only visiting my place for necessities. I'm done. No going back after this.